Richard Martinez here with the Rise Academy and the Life Mastery Planner. I just want to welcome and thank you for being a part of this, for being a part of this journey, because I know for me, this is super exciting. To finally put together this planner has been such an accomplishment for myself because over the last 17 years and over 25 nations, I've been developing different tools, different courses, different programs, all to be able to empower people in their personal lives, empower people in their professional lives, in their health, in their spirituality, in every area of their life. So now to create this life mastery planner, like for me it's a big deal. And I'm honored that you are here with me listening to this and wanting to learn, wanting to achieve the things that you want to achieve, and thank you. I'm honored that you would come and spend your time with me and really invest your time, yourself, your wealth into yourself and into your future. And that's what this is all about. Because this planner, um, the effects and the results that it's been producing in people's lives has been very humbling to me. Because I have people from all around the world, different levels of life, different industries, different markets, different ages, different races, and it's still producing results for everyone and really meeting them where they're at. So for me, it's super amazing. So I just want to welcome you to the first day of the rest of your life because I know this is going to change so many things for you. So many people struggle. I mean, really struggle with really achieving what they want. And they have the passion, they have the drive, they have the grit, but they end up burning out. They get frustrated, they get tired, they get overwhelmed because things are just not going how they want it to go, but yet they're pushing so hard and they're not seeing the results that they want. So it's very hard emotionally, it's very hard on your mindset when you're giving it your all and you're not seeing the results that you want. And a lot of people don't realize that it's not just about the achievement, it's also about alignment. And that's what this is about. This planner helps you to achieve, but also helps you to be in alignment. Because a lot of times people are achieving, they're pushing through, but they're getting tired. And a lot of times they're not only burning out, but they're using all their high quality energy throughout the day. And then they end up going home to their loved ones and giving their leftover energy to them. And I want to help people not to do that. I want people to not just achieve, but also enjoy the process. And not just enjoy the process, but actually have a high quality energy throughout it and even after it so they can give love, they can give attention, they can give everything that they have to the people that they love around them. So that's what this is about. This planner is not about accomplishing more self discipline or willpower. It's all about you personally discovering what it really feels like to have control over your life. And to have control over your life that in a way that makes you feel free, where you're still productive, where you're feeling happy. And it's about you helping you to create an extraordinary life, the one that you've always wanted. So it's time, right? It's time to develop the right mindset, the right focus, the right habits to create the life that you want. So again, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Ooh, see this quote right here is a truest truth. It's a very powerful thing, and when you begin to understand what it really means and really apply it in your life, I'm telling you, it will change your life and it'll raise the quality of it. Yeah, I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to explain why it's so important. Okay, so let's read it first. So here it goes. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. If you can't manage it, you can't grow it. And if you can't grow it, why do it? Now, why would that be so extreme? Because you see, growth is a need that you have. It's a need that I have. It's a need that we all have. So when we don't feel like we're growing in a certain area of our life, we begin to feel stuck, less than. We start to, get some insecurity, some self doubt. We start to beat ourselves up. We have guilt. We, midlife crisis. We don't feel content. We start to, feel hopeless. We even get into depression. We can feel overwhelmed. All these different low quality emotions can be coming up because you don't feel like you're going anywhere in a certain area of your life, whether it's your health, your spirituality, your relationships, your finances, your career, any area of your life that you are not advancing in, you're going to begin to feel dissatisfied. You're going to feel discontent. You're going to feel maybe even frustrated. And these are, low quality energies that you don't need to be living in. Okay. So I want to help you to get you on a system on all these most important areas of your life, to put you on a system so that you can grow every area, So if you can't measure it, you're not going to be able to manage it. So that's what the system helps you to do. It gets all the most important areas of your life, and it helps you to manage it by measuring it so that you can continue to grow it. And I'm telling you, this is life changing. So remember this truth, okay? If it's not growing, it's either dead or dying. If you go to where some bushes are, some trees, some plants, some greenery, you start to look at it. And those branches that, they're kind of like getting yellow, they're getting dried out. What does that tell you about that? That branch it's not growing, so therefore it's either dead or it's dying. And not only that, but that freaking branch that's not growing anymore, it's not really producing any fruit for you, any results for you. It's also taking nutrients from the rest of this bush, the rest of this plant, the rest of this tree. So this planner is not only going to help you to manage things, it's going to help you to really be focused on what you need to be focused on so that you can even cut off dead branches that are taking nutrients from what you really should be focusing on. And this planner helps you to be so clear about what you want for your future. It helps you to get so clear that your yes to that which you want to accomplish, your yes is so loud that it's an automatic no to everything else. So this planner will help you to stay focused. It'll kill procrastination. It'll kill this issue of time management or feeling overwhelmed or losing track of things. This planner helps you to measure, manage, and grow all the most important areas of your life so that the quality of your life just rises. It rises, and that's what the life mastery system is about. So again, let me just finish off by reading this one more time. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And if you can't manage it, you can't grow it. And if you can't grow it, why do it? This planner is for the high achiever, for the one who really wants to do something with their life, who wants to organize and be clear in order to produce more results with less stress. You heard that right. Like, you really can produce more results with less stress. Yes, you can. And that's what this whole planner is about. It's going to help you achieve that, guaranteed. Now, this is for those who have big goals and want to progress effectively and constantly for a long period of time without burnout. Okay, so because a lot of times people, they get real excited about their goals, right? And they see this, they have this passion, this desire for this dream that they have. They have this vision, they have vision boards, they have all these things, and they get so excited, and they're going for it, right? Like, nothing's gonna get in my freaking way. I'm going to accomplish this, right? I'm going to produce this, and they go, and they go. And then they go and they start to get tired, and if they don't have clarity, if they don't have a good system, they start to burn out, and it gets really hard. People, I see this all the time with high achievers. They come to me because their personal life is falling apart a lot of times. Their most important relationships, their family, things that they really are working hard for are starting to fall apart because they're so focused over here and producing the results for their business, or to achieve these goals, and they're forgetting about their family. This happens a lot because high achievers tend to do that. So this planner will help high achievers. This planner will also help develop you into a high achiever. If you're somebody who procrastinates all the time, who is indecisive, who maybe gets insecure, self-doubt comes up, and you're not really taking the action that you want, you're not executing, you're not taking the risk. And so this planner will actually help you to gain so much clarity and so much confidence about what you're going to do. Because of that clarity, all of a sudden this courage will come up where you're going to start to execute more. So whether you are already a high achiever and you don't want to burn out, this is going to help you. Or if you're somebody who, maybe you're lazy, maybe you haven't been and you haven't been taught that, so you need to have some kind of system to keep you on track so that nothing stops you. That's what this is for too. So this planner brings together a structure for both alignment and achievement so that you can experience immediate and long-term results in your life. Did you get that? Because that's so powerful. I'm going to read that again. This planner right here, this life mastery system planner that you have right here, it brings together a structure for both alignment and achievement. Okay, you can't have one without the other. You can, but you're not going to live the best quality of life if you don't have both together. To have achievement where you're achieving, but also alignment where everything's in agreement how you want it, and then that's where you're going to have a peace, a sense of this feels good, and you're achieving and you're moving forward at the same time. So this planner brings together a structure for both alignment and achievement. Why? So that you can experience immediate and long-term results in your life. This planner makes things very clear for you so that your level of commitment and courage starts to rise in tandem with your confidence, your achievement, and the results. Because when you start to have clarity, maybe before you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I can, lose that weight. I don't know if I can, build this relationship. I don't know if I can, really achieve that goal that I have." Whatever it is, it's because you're not clear enough. And this planner will help you to gain that clarity. And then all of a sudden, now that you can see better, you can see, right? You're like, "Oh, okay. I didn't understand it before, but now I can kind of see better." So now you start to build a sense of courage in you to start to take a step. Because maybe you don't see the whole picture, but you see more, and you can see in front of you to where you have more of a courage and confidence to actually take a couple more steps, right? That's what this planner does. It helps you to see clearly. It helps you to stay focused on that what you want to achieve, and it begins to build your courage. And as you begin to go, because you have more courage, guess what? You're going to begin to build your capability because you're actually taking action. You're actually starting to develop your capabilities. So then, guess what happens next? Now you start to feel confident about what you're doing. You didn't feel confident before, right? You're actually afraid. And because you got clarity through this planner, now you're starting to take more action. And because you're taking more action, you're starting to build this confidence muscle, this self-confidence muscle about yourself, because you're doing reps of things that take courage. Now, all of a sudden, you start to develop the capability that you need. And now you're doing really well. The thing that you couldn't do before, now you got it, right? Now you're like, "Oh, I can do this." And you start to get better and better. Your skills start to rise up. And now all of a sudden, this sense of confidence come where you're like, man, not arrogance, because you still have this thankfulness, this humility, because you had to develop this. You know that it took a lot of, getting through fears and stuff. So you're actually very proud in that way, but it's not like, "Oh, I arrived," but it actually begins to build this self-confidence in you. And with that confidence, you're going to achieve more. You're going to achieve more results. Think about it. When you feel good and confident about something, how much does that impact, your production in every area of your life? Now, think about those areas of your life where you wish you can grow and you can go, but you don't really have the confidence to do that yet. This planner is going to help you to do it. You're going to have clarity. It's going to build the courage for you to take action. It's going to help you with the tools even in it to build your capability. And guess what? You're going to start to feel so confident about who you are, what you're doing, where you're going, why you're going there, how you're going to get there, who you're bringing with you. Your level and your quality of life is going to rise like never before. So this planner is going to help you to produce more with less stress by bringing alignment and achievement together so that you can produce immediate and long-term results. So here's a little warning for you, okay? So as you get into this life mastery system, you need to understand that there's a cost. And I'm going to talk about more about this cost in the next slide of the presentation. But before we get into that, you need to get something clear. Like, is this life mastery system, this RISE planner, is it for you? How would you benefit from it, right? So this is something that you need to be clear, because it is going to take an investment of your time, yourself, and your wealth to really get this to produce results in your life. So let's get this clear first, okay? So if you are somebody who likes comfort zones and wants to remain where you are in life right now, this is not for you. Okay? Because this life mastery system, what it does, it creates and accelerates self-responsibility. That's what it does. So if you're trying to avoid being responsible for certain things and really making something happen with it, this is not for you. Okay? But if you are somebody who is tired of being in the comfort zone, tired of hitting this plateau, being stuck in a rut, just not really having control over your life and dominating and winning in every area like you would like, then this is for you. Because I'm telling you, this life mastery system is going to create and accelerate self-responsibility, self-awareness, self-discipline, self-motivation, self-love. And in all those areas, all those things are going to produce freaking results in every area of your life. This life mastery system produces results for you, but it takes you out of your comfort zone. So if you want to stay comfortable, this is definitely not for you, okay? So in fact, the life mastery system can be defined in one word: results. That's what it's going to produce. But Results take work. Now, when I say results, what do I mean by results? Results are the fruits of progress, right? Results encompass the clarity and happiness that you'll immediately experience having achieved your desired goals. But meaningful results can only be realized through momentum. And this system, it helps you to do that. It's contained in this planner. It's going to help you to achieve growth in every area of your life and gain a momentum in a way where you can keep it. That's the thing. A lot of times people gain a momentum and they fall off track. They lose focus. They get distracted with these other things that they shouldn't be doing. And it's because they don't have this clear system like this one. So this is going to help you to get this momentum, not only create it, but maintain it. So this planner will not only allow you to, it's not going to allow you to remain stagnant, okay? It's not going to allow you to settle. It's not going to allow you to get lost or overwhelmed in life. It demands success. This life mastery planner, it will demand, it will demand success. But of course, success takes freaking work. So there's a cost. There's a cost that comes with this planner, but the reward greatly surpasses the cost. The ROI, the return in investment of using this life mastery system is ridiculous. It demands success, but of course, success takes discipline and hard work. Okay, so now let's talk about this cost, right? So like if you're on this slide, that's because you heard the last one and who it's for, and you're somebody who, you're a high achiever and you're not afraid to do the work. You're not afraid to, let's make this grow. You're not afraid. Or you're just tired of being stuck and you're tired of that old way of living and you're ready and willing to make a change in your life. So if that's you, that's why you're in this next slide right here, because otherwise, if you would have heard the last one and knew that it's going to make you more responsible for everything, it's going to create more self-discipline, then you would have stopped already, right? So you being here right now, it already signifies that you're ready, yes? So let's talk about the cost. So the cost of using the Life Mastery System Planner, it's time and energy. That's the cost. But there's a reward. The reward is time and energy. Yes, you're going to actually put in time and energy, but you're going to get more time and energy back. How? Think about it. Like a lot of times your time and energy is freaking wasted on things that have nothing to do. It's not in alignment with where you want to go in your life. It's not going towards the goal. So it's a lot of time and energy that's wasted. Being distracted, getting overwhelmed, getting frustrated, getting sick. All that is time and energy wasted, right? So you being more efficient and healthy and strategic and systematized and consistent, it's actually the ROI, the return on investment, is going to be more time and more energy for yourself because you're not wasting a lot of it. So you're actually going to end up with more time and more energy. And guess what? You're going to achieve more results and the dreams that you have. So your cost, you must invest time and energy. That's your cost. Okay, so every morning, you're going to set yourself up for success by creating clarity for yourself. Every morning, that's a part of this life mastery system. You're going to wake up in the morning and you have to invest time and energy. You're going to sit down and go over those morning intentions that's set up in this life mastery system, where you're going to have to go through it and go through the questions to begin to prepare your mind for the day and program your brain to begin to want to achieve everything that you're beginning to write down. So every morning you have to set yourself up by creating clarity, and that takes investing time and energy. And then every evening, you're going to create momentum by measuring and reflecting. Okay, so every morning, every evening, you have to put in some time and energy. Now, also once a week, you're going to spend a few minutes on the weekly review, where it's going to show you where you need to step up your game. No excuses. So once a week, you're going to use this goal system tool. You're going to see, okay, what area of my life do I need to focus on that I'm lacking in, right? Now that you're clear on those areas, I'm going to help you to put it on a system. You're going to create a goal system for each of those areas that you really want to dominate, you really want to give more attention to. That's what this planner is going to help you to do. So by that time, by the next coming week, you're already in alignment, ready to achieve. This is going to help you to create more enjoyment in the process. Okay, so it's not going to only help you to align and achieve it, but because of that, on the way, you're going to enjoy the process so much more. So your cost, you must invest time and energy. Your rewards will be more time and more energy. You will actually create more time for yourself because you're more efficient and more focused. You're going to get more done in less time. You will also automatically stop wasting time in areas that you have developed habits of procrastination, because this planner is going to keep you clear, confident, and focused on what you need to be focused on. So this is not your normal, planner that I'm sure that you guys got. It's not a normal calendar that you guys dealt with before. It's not a normal like agenda thing. This is something that I've been putting together for the last 17 years, and every page is on purpose. This is not a typical planner. This planner is for high achievers, or somebody who wants to become a high achiever, somebody who wants to take their life and their goals very serious. This planner has come from a lot of years of success in producing results, achieving goals in every area of their life. So this is not a toy or an organizational book. This is a tool that produces results and transformation. So if you're willing to put this cost and understand the ROI of you spending, time and energy into this, if you're willing to do that and you understand it, you're going to win. So are you ready? We're going to move to this next page where we're going to get into the index. I'm going to have you actually write down a contract. You're going to sign a contract to yourself to commit to using this planner and really create the future that you want. So let's go to the next one. All right, so let's talk about the index a little bit. This is not going to take too long. I just want to go through what kind of things to expect inside of this Life Mastery System planner. So as far as the index goes, right in the beginning, there's the presentation. You got on pages 13, it starts with a weekly review where you're going to actually have this life chart, and you're going to be able to look at your last week and see overall your whole life, where are you lacking? That's going to begin to get you more focus where we go to the next tool before you get into the normal daily pages. You're going to hit a goal system tool, where now you're going to get really clear on what you want to achieve this next week. Then you get to the daily pages. On page 18 it starts. This is where you finally start day one. And then it goes into the weekly pages, where after 7 of those days of you measuring your growth and doing all the things that those days are asking you to do, at the end of the week, you're going to start all over again, where you're going to go over your weekly review. You're going to reflect on that whole week and see what the good is, so you can bring in the good of last week with you into the next week. So it becomes wisdom, it becomes capability, it becomes courage, it becomes confidence. But then you also let go by reflecting on a lot of the things of this last week that wasn't good for you, that was maybe negative. Now you're going to be able to overcome those things and not bring that into your next week, but just let it go, right? So you have the daily pages, then we have the weekly pages, then we have the monthly pages where you can see the whole month at a glance, right? This is a part of this system. And then I get into certain tools. There's a whole tool section of, how to connect and communicate with anybody. Effective confrontation system. 8 principles of health. 7 areas to strengthen your relationships. You're going to have 6 leadership habits. And there's a lot of other tools in here that's going to really help you to change your life. They're powerful tools. So that's the index. And now let's get into the next page. All right, let's go over to page 9 now. Okay, so page 9, this is where you're going to commit to yourself. So it says right here, this planner belongs to, and you write your name, and it says, I commit to using this Life Mastery System and creating the life I have always wanted. And you sign right there. So this is you signing, committing to yourself. Now, you know what? It's time. It's time for me to make some change. It's time for me to do something with my life. It's time for me to take this area of my life, or every area of my life, to new levels, right? So I'm going to read a part of this page right here on number 9. And it says, we realize how important it is for people to have clear understanding, path, and direction in order to achieve their goals. Clarity and structure makes them feel more courageous and confident to take the actions necessary to create the life they want. This is exactly why we created the Life Mastery System. So I want to congratulate you if you're signing this and really committing to doing something with this planner, because it does take commitment. It does take time, self, and wealth to really get the benefits of using this thing. And I really want to welcome you to the first day of the rest of your life, because as you sign here and really commit to yourself to do it, I'm telling you, your life will never be the same. So let's do it, sign there, and let's move on to this next page so we can get into an explanation of how this thing works and how it's going to change your life. All right, let's do this. So this is the month at a glance. Okay, so now that we've gone through all the beginning pages, now we flip over here. Now this is where it kind of starts. Okay, this is where you start to prepare your brain. Okay, because I don't know if you know this, but your brain, it's a tool for you, okay? And it's a tool that's either going to help you to win or to lose, to succeed or to fail, because your brain, at the end of the day, really wants to protect you. And that's not always good, right? Because a lot of times we want to achieve things, and because we've never done it before, this fear comes up. And because that fear comes up, now our brain's like, maybe you shouldn't do it. And now we start to hesitate, we start to doubt, we start to, what if? And we start to have all these conversations that don't really set us up for success. So we need to get clear on our brain and really set up our brain, prepare our brain, program our brain of like, hey, brain, this is what we're going to do this month. All right. So let me just prepare you. And some of these things that you're going to do, brain, that you're going to help me do are not going to be so comfortable. Some of these things are going to take work. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take, dealing with some fears. So I just letting you know, brain, no matter what comes up, this is what we're going to accomplish. And now your brain begins to accept it. So that way, when you come to these things that you normally might not like doing or afraid of doing that usually equal pain, now you already know you have to do it, so now you don't have to suffer so much as you're doing it because you're preparing your brain to accept that thing you need to do. So if you have to do it anyways, might as well, learn to enjoy that process. And in order to be able to do that, you have to understand how your brain works. So you have to prepare your brain to accept those things that you want to accomplish. So that's what this life planner is going to help you to do. So if you don't know how to do it, that's okay. As you go through this life mastery planner, you're going to do it automatically. And this is where it begins with the month at a glance. So right now, you can see on the screen, you're looking at the whole month at a glance. This is actually what it looks like when the Life Mastery Planner is opened. So you have the left page and the right page, right? So on the left side, you can see, okay, there's 3 major projects that I need to do. And you start to write those down. 3 major events, 3 major deadlines, 3 things that I must accomplish. So this begins to prepare your brain of like, these are the things that I need to focus on this whole month. Right? And then of course you have the Monday, Tuesday, you can put all the days in there, the year and the month on top, so you can use it for any year, any month, because you're writing it in there. You put the days in there, and now you begin to put your schedule. Okay, Monday I have to do this. Tuesday you start to put your whole schedule on there, so you're preparing your brain of like, hey, this month, this is what you're gonna do. These are the 3 major projects you're gonna focus on. Here are the 3 major events that you have this month. Here are the 3 major deadlines, and here are the 3 things that I must accomplish. Again, this is the month at a glance. This is just the beginning of you preparing your brain, programming your brain of like, hey brain, this is what we're going to accomplish. No ifs, no excuses. This is what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to continue creating clarity. On this slide, we're going to start to look at your weekly life review. And what this does is give you an overall picture of visual of how you've been doing, where you've been doing well, where you've been lacking. So that way you can, begin to be more intentional in this next week, where you start to really, pay attention to the areas where you're lacking, or, really develop those areas where you need to develop. So you're not wasting time. You're not, getting distracted. You're not, feeling overwhelmed because you're not focusing on the right things. So that's what this whole Life Mastery System Planner is going to help you to do. Not only create clarity, but it's going to help you to begin to create systematic action. Action and execution that is on purpose with the purpose. So you're really creating a momentum that you need to accomplish, your goals and create the future that you want. So the more clarity, the more courage you're going to have to take those actions. The more actions you take, the more capabilities you're going to build. And then you're going to feel this sense of confidence about what you're doing. So that's where you're on your way to, okay? So we're going to keep getting clarity here. So now you already went over, on the last slide, your whole month review. You can already see what's there. Now it's about, okay, where do I need to focus? In this month, in this week, where am I going to focus? So right here we have the weekly life review. Okay, so this is a chart that you're actually going to begin to fill out. So get a pen. And you're going to write a dot. On a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to rate yourself on each one of these areas of this pie chart. Now, if you don't know what they mean, like when it says health foods, like, okay, well, I know what health foods are, but how do I rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10? How do I know I'm doing well? 1 being, not very well, 10 being freaking awesome, right? So, but what does it mean? Or emotional stability, or social life, partner connection, family connection, movement, spirituality, career and business, finances, your learning and self development. These are all different areas I want you to rate yourself of how satisfied, how fulfilled, how well you are doing in each of those areas. Now, if you don't understand what those are, at the back, like you can see on the bottom of this page, you don't see it on the slide, but on the bottom of this page in the planner, there is a magnifying glass with words all the way at the bottom. And that icon of the magnifying glass means that all these words, everything right here in the bottom, you can look up in the back in the glossary. So everything in this chart is defined, and I give you an examples to really make it clear of how to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for each of these areas. So I describe and define what each area means. That's in the back in the glossary. So again, back to this chart of how you're going to use it now, okay? So if you want to understand what each of those are, you have to go to the back where it defines what each one is. So let's go back to actually doing the exercise. So you're going to have a pin. Now, you start from the top, wherever you want to start, but you're rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you don't feel like you're doing well in that area, you're going to go closer to the middle, closer to 1. If you suck, if you really suck in that area and you're not doing anything in that area, you're going to, put it on right in the middle, like in the bullseye, right? That's 0. Now, if you're doing amazing and you're like, man, I'm freaking doing awesome in this area, I'm just smashing it, every day I'm consistent with it, I'm a freaking 10. And you're going to put the dot on towards the outside of the circle. Now, as you finish each one of those, pieces of the pie chart, right? Each one of those triangles, as you work your way through all the way around, drawing a dot in each one, now you're going to connect the dots from side to side. So it's going to, begin to create like a star, a ninja star or something, and it's going to give you a really great visual of where you're lacking, where you need to give more attention in those areas of that pie chart. And if you think of that wheel, that circle, that chart as a wheel, as a tire, and you begin to rotate it in a circle, spin it in a circle, you think like that's one of the tires on your car. Is your life going to be a smooth ride or a bumpy ride, right? A lot of times we can see that it's kind of jagged. It's going to be a freaking bumpy ride in our life. So this is a great visual to show you like, okay, I need to give some attention to these different areas so I can really create a more of a well-balanced life. So I have more happiness, I have more peace, I have more energy that I can use to, to go put into my goals, to put into my family, to put in these other areas, because now I'm really focused on what I need to be doing. And I have more peace, more efficiency. I'm producing more, all because of this. So this is a great tool, a great visual to see. All right, where do I need to give attention? And so after you fill that out, we're going to go into the next slide where we're gonna get more focused, more clear about what we're gonna do this next week. But make sure you take your time, you read the definitions, you know how to rate yourself, get that visual. And this is a tool that you're gonna do every month. You can do this every week. You actually in the planner you're going to do this every week, but I would encourage you, like if you have kids, if you have a team, if you have employees, if you whatever, you can actually use this with them and actually show them how to rate themselves so you can begin to empower them to bring change themselves. So this is a great, powerful tool. So go ahead and fill it out and let's get ready for that next page. All right, so now that you've done the chart, okay, so now again, we're going to get more focused. We're going to get more clear on where we're going to give more of our attention to, where we're going to give more of our energy to, okay? Because whatever you focus on, you're going to give your energy to that. And if you are not clear on what you need to be focusing on, this is where you get distracted. This is where you start to lose energy, give energy away that you don't need to be giving away, and to the point where so many people give away all their high quality energy. At the end of the day, they get home and they're giving the people that they love the most their leftover energy. So I don't want you to be one of those. I need you to be more efficient with your time, more clear, more focused, that you have some clear targets of what you're going to hit, because without a target, you're never going to freaking hit it. So that's what this is about, getting a clear target. So this is the goal system tool for the Life Mastery Planner. Now that you've done the pie charts, you're going to choose 3 areas. Okay, so choose 3 areas that you want to focus on more this next coming week. These are probably going to be either the lowest ones, because those need some more love. They need some more attention, right? So you're going to focus on those 3 areas that are the lowest on this chart for this next week. Now you go to this goal system tool. You can see right here, okay, these are the 3 things, right? This tool is to help you to create more clear action plan, to help you to set up immediate and long-term advancement towards your goals. There's 3 main things this week, right? Next, write why do you want to accomplish them. From those 3, we're going to end up choosing one main goal, okay, that we're going to create a whole tool around and get so focused, so clear about how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, who you're going to do it with, how you're going to measure, that there's no other option than for you to actually achieve this. And that's what this whole thing is about. When you actually use this planner, like, you will create the results. Like, there is no other way, because this puts it in your face and so clear that there's no other option. Like, your yes to accomplishing this is going to be so clear, and your yes is going to be so loud that it's going to be an automatic no to everything else, and you're going to get it done. That's what this is about. So, okay, you got that chart done. Now you pick the 3 areas that you're going to fill it in right here. 1, 2, 3, and then write why. Why is it important for you to accomplish these 3 things, to focus on these 3 things this week? Why is this so important? Now, you're writing this why because you're creating leverage in yourself. You want to say why because it's going to bring this benefit. If I accomplish this, if I focus on these things, these are the benefits that it's going to bring my life. These are the benefits that it's going to produce, not only for me, but for those around me. But then you also see, okay, what are the consequences of me not doing this, of me not achieving this, of me not giving this more attention? What are the consequences for me and for those that I love that are around me? See, when you start to think that, and actually the more you see it in your imagination, the more clear that it is, the benefits that you're going to have by achieving and the consequences that you can have by not achieving, you're creating leverage in yourself. You're programming your brain of saying, hey, no matter how you feel, no matter what you're thinking, this is what we're going to do, okay, brain? So even if fear comes up, even if this is what we're going to do. So you're telling your brain, you're already setting up your brain so that when you do those things, when you're, that you really don't like to do, or when you start to do those things that maybe you're afraid of, now you're not suffering through it because you've already prepared your brain. You've already told your brain, this is what we're going to do. So now your brain, the fight or flight mechanism, is not going to work against you. It's going to work for you because you've already prepared it. That's what this whole planner does for you. All this whole system is in an order that is on purpose, that's been measured. This has been proven to create results in people's lives. Okay? So you're writing the why you want to accomplish, why you want to focus on each of these 3 things. This is you programming your brain. Okay? So now that you got that part done, you can see in the bottom of the slide right here, it says the main goal. Now, this is the main thing that you need to be focusing on this week. Now, in the actual planner, below what you see here on the screen, there's more. It says the instructions of how to use this thing. So it's made very clear, even in the text, even in the planner itself, of what's coming next, what to expect, how to use these tools so that you're not lost and you actually can apply it. Okay, so the more simple it is, the more you're going to actually do it. So I have created this whole planner to where it's actually very, very profound, but very simple. I've actually had professionals in therapy, counselors, different entrepreneurs, people who are really doing really, really well, who are very educated, who went to a lot of schooling for years and years to have license and expertise in different things. They've gone through this and they tell me, like, wow, I don't know how you took such complex concepts and tools and made it in such a simple way. I've had people tell me, like, man, my whole life work, like everything I've went to school for so many years, you have put it into this book in a way that makes sense. So it's a very powerful thing. So if you just follow it and use it, it will produce the results that you're looking for. So now we're going to get more clear in the next slide, where you're actually going to begin to focus on this main goal. So let's go. All right, now let's get even more focused. So we already went over the chart. We already picked 3 areas that we're going to focus on. We already wrote down the whys we're going to focus on this so we can create more leverage for ourselves, right? So now let's use the life mastery goal system tool. Now, as you can see right here on the top, it says main goal. You're going to write your main goal right there. Then underneath, we're going to begin to identify the 4 main things that you need to start doing now to achieve that one main goal. Now, I want to remind you here is the more simple that you create this, the higher the percentage goes for you to actually accomplish this. If you make it very complicated and like a big deal where it's not very clear, you're not going to do it. Okay? So the more step-by-step feel this has, the more simple, okay, step 1, step 2, the better for you. Okay, because your brain's going to actually really want to do this. You're training your brain, you're programming your brain, and if it's complex, you're not going to do it. If it's simple, your brain's going to get excited to do it. You're going to create a motivation, you're going to create a hope, you're going to create momentum for yourself to take action to create the results. Okay, so the main goal goes on top. Now, what are the 4 main things that you need to do now to accomplish this? And in the actual planner behind this, there's 2 examples broken down for you. So if you don't understand it, it's a whole, step by step of how to fill it up with these 2 examples. For one of the examples is health. So if I write health right there on top, what are the 4 main things that I need to do now to accomplish that one main goal? So in this example, the 4 things that I have written: 1, meal prep; 2, more water; 3, exercise; 4, walk. So that's just an example, right? Maybe if, say, you wanted to put health on there, maybe your 4 things would be different. That's okay. And also, for that main goal, you don't have to use, the chart, like 3 areas of that chart. If you have a project going on, at work right now, if you have something that you really want to achieve, like something that's urgent, something that's priority that you really want to accomplish, then make that your main goal. You don't have to go by the 10 areas that I put in this life chart. Whatever is urgent for you now, whatever is most important for you now that you want to start to focus on, put that as your main goal. Now break it out. Okay, what are the 4 simple things that I need to start doing now, that I can start doing now to accomplish that one main thing, right? So you're going to write those 4 things on top. Again, the more simple, the better for you. The other example that I have here in the planner is for partner connection. Like if my connection with my partner was very low and I want to make that my main goal, okay, here are the 4 things that I wrote as an example that I can start doing now. Okay, 1, smile more and have a good attitude. That's something simple, right, that I can actually do that will create a better connection with my partner. Number 2, listen more or listen better. That's something that's going to really add value to my partner connection also, right? 3, give more affection. 4, give more compliments. Maybe your 4 would be 4 different things. Maybe you're very good at those 4 things and it would be 4 totally different things to better your partner connection. And that's okay. That's what this whole thing is about. It's like, okay, what do you need to do? What can you start doing now to begin to take your steps to go forward to accomplish this main goal? Okay, so now you fill up those 4 things. You got that there? Fill up those 4 things. Now we're going to work our way down each column. So for number 1, you have that for the example again, meal prep for my health. Okay, and this is just for example's sake. You're going to fill up your own according to your main goal and according to the 4 main things you need to do to accomplish that main goal. So number 1, we're going to work our way down the column: the how, the when, the who, and how to measure yourself, the system, the schedule, the support team, and the evaluation. So if I have number 1 being meal prep, okay, how am I going to do it? Again, real simple. I'm going to prepare all my weekly meals and snacks. That's how. How am I going to do meal prep? I'm going to prepare all my weekly meals and snacks. Pretty simple, right? Pretty clear. Now, when am I going to do that? Every Sunday night, I'm going to make my meals for the week, and I'm going to make sure I have water for all my meals. Okay? So boom, that's the when. Now, who am I going to do this with? Not that you have to, but if you have somebody who can be a part of the support team, if you have a coach, maybe you have a group, maybe you have a team, maybe you have your family, who is going to be a part of this? Write it down there. Now, how are you going to measure yourself that you actually are doing it? And this planner is actually made for that. After each of the days, You're gonna find this out in a later slide, in probably about 3 more slides when I get to the daily page. At the end of the day, you're going to measure yourself and how you're doing in a lot of these areas. So this planner is perfect to help you to measure, to track your growth. Okay, but if there's a step or a goal that you need to do here that you need to measure a different way, then you need to do that. You need to figure out a way that you can measure if you're actually taking action in this step, in this first thing. Now, number 2, okay, if my main goal is health, my first thing is, okay, meal prep. My second one is I need more water. So what do I need to do? How? I need to always carry water with me. Okay, that's a pretty simple step, right? If you have water with me, I'm going to drink it more. So I should at least carry 1 liter, and I want to drink at least 2 to 3 liters a day. But I at least want to carry that 1 liter and drink it, okay? That's going to help me to actually drink it. That's the how. When? I can use alarms to remind me every hour on the hour, drink water. There's apps that would even do that, right? So that's when. Now, who? Who's going to help me to support me in this? Again, I'm going to use my phone, or I can, put somebody on my team. I could have somebody in the family that's going to, ask me. I'm going to ask them because we're going to do this together. Whatever helps for you to help you to accomplish that one thing. Now, how are you going to measure it? Okay, some people have those big jugs, that have like lines on it, all the way like measuring yourself that gets to 3 liters or even a gallon. Maybe that's a way that you're going to measure yourself, or maybe you're going to save your empty water bottles so that at the end of the day you can count how many water bottles that you drank, or you're going to make tally marks on something, or however you're going to do it, measure it. That's super important for yourself. Okay, now what is the third thing you need to do? Okay, exercise. How? I will exercise at home. I don't need weights. I don't need equipment. I can do push-ups, sit-ups, squats, dips, jump rope, pull-ups, things that I can do with my body weight. That's the how. When? I'm going to work out Monday through Thursday mornings for 45 minutes, and I'm going to work on Saturday for an hour. That's my win. Who? My partner can keep me accountable, or I can have a coach or a trainer, or Richard Martinez, go a couple days to the gym. So whatever works for you for that thing, you need to break it down. Work your way down that column with the who, the how, the when, the who, and how you're going to measure yourself for each of those 4 main things that you need to start doing now to accomplish that main goal. Okay? So again, in the planner, there's those examples there, but I need you to take your time, pick your main goal. What are the 4 main things that you can start doing now to accomplish that one main goal? Start in the column 1, work your way down, and you're going to write a simple how you're going to do this, a simple when, a simple who, and how you're going to measure it. And now, let's get to the next slide. Now, this is a very powerful tool right here. Leverage links for change. Now, let me read the top of it right here, where it's not in your slide, but let me just read this. Why do people start healthy habits, but they don't last long? Why do people admit what they should be doing, yet they don't do it, and even feel like they can't do it? The reason is not enough inward leverage. Again, why do people keep doing those things they shouldn't be doing? They don't have enough inward leverage. They don't have enough clarity. Or why do they not do those things they know they should be doing, or they only do it for a temporary time? And then they stop and they default to their level of training. They default into their old habits, their old behaviors, their old ways. Why does that happen? Because they don't have enough clarity. They don't have enough leverage inside themselves to continue and to make it a part of their lifestyle. So that's what this tool is. So now that you've already went through the charts, you've already, started to boil down, get really clear on your main goal. You created this whole tool system, this whole system to really accomplish that one goal. Now, that's already enough. But man, this is going to make it 100%, guaranteed that you're going to make it happen. That's the power of this tool. So when you don't have enough inward leverage, doubts, fears will limit you. They'll stop you from achieving your goals and your dreams. So the more clarity you have, the more courage you're going to have. Again, the more courage you have, the more action you're going to take, the more capability you're going to build, and you're going to really feel confident about what you're doing. So work your way through these 10 different things about that one goal. So number 1, have a clear goal in mind and visualize it from start to finish with as much detail as possible. So you're going to go over each of those things, okay? Remember the first thing. I'm going to do my meal prep, right? So I'm going to actually see myself wake up in the morning, see myself do the grocery store, see myself cut it, see myself, start to clean the foods and cook it. And I want to see myself, what I'm wearing. Is there music playing? The more imagination that I use, the more details I use, the better for my brain, because the more clear it's going to be and the more action I'm going to take because of it. Okay, so have a clear goal in mind, visualize it from start to finish with as much detail as possible. That's number one. And then I get that, then I take that first thing, okay, I'm going to meal prep. Now I take it to the next one. I'm going to write it out. The third one, what are my beliefs about this that are healthy, that are in alignment? Okay, well, I believe that, meal prep is really important because it's going to help me to eat better. I'm not going to, get distracted or get, so busy that I go and do fast food. So I'm going to write it out. I'm going to write out my beliefs about this. That's what I believe about this. So I'm going to write that out. So my beliefs are in agreement. They're in alignment with this goal. So that's me programming my brain. Now, what values do I have? I value, living long. I value feeling good. I value that. So that's in alignment with me doing the meal prep, right? Now, share your goal with somebody that you love. This is the fifth one. Now, hey, I'm going to be doing some meal prep. I'm excited. You speaking this stuff out with somebody you love is creating more leverage in yourself, more clarity. So again, so that you actually do it. Number 6, what strengths, talents, abilities, passions that you already have that can help you achieve this goal? You start to write that down. Okay, what benefits of achieving this goal? How is it going to make you feel? How is it going to really help those around you? And you start to write that out. What are the benefits of me doing this? Number 8, what are the consequences of me not doing this? Number 9, what alarms can I set to remind myself of these different reasons why I'm committing to this goal? You see how when you start to work through all 10 of these things for each of these parts that you need to do, how clear you're going to be? This is again programming your brain. It's setting your brain up to really win, to succeed, to push through any struggles, obstacles. It gives pain a purpose because you're so clear about why you're doing it. When difficulty comes, when struggle comes, you're not going to stop because you're so clear. Your yes is so loud to that thing that you set your mind to, that these other things that come up, it's not going to stop you. That's the power of this leverage links for change. Number 10, share your goal with a coach or somebody that will keep you accountable. I'm somebody that can be that person for sure. So this whole tool, this whole page is for you to take each one of those parts. You can do it just with the main goal, the overall main goal. You can do it with specifically the 4 main things that you need to do to accomplish those main goals. You can get very detailed, very specific with this tool. And again, the more clear you are, the better for you. Let's get to that next slide. All right, so now we are here on the daily pages. Okay, so on the slide that you're going to be seeing right now, that's only the left side of what I'm seeing. So imagine the book that's opened up. You have the left page, the right page, the binding in the middle, right? So right now what you are seeing is the left side of the book when it's opened up. This is the first part. It's the daily pages. This is in the morning. Okay, so again, when you use this planner, there's an investment. You have to put some time. You have to put some effort into it. So this is a part of it. This is where you're going to start putting in some work. So right here on the top, you're going to write an encouraging message to self. Okay, so this is you preparing your brain. Like for me, for myself, I put a lot of times, I change it up, depending on, what's going on that day, what's going on that season of my life, what's going on that's important that I need to really, build courage in or really, create some motivation or some focus in, I'll change it. But a lot of times I put, you are more than enough and all things are possible. You are more than enough and all things are possible. You are more than enough and all things are possible. That's something that I often just speak out and over myself, over other people. But a lot of times that's what I write for myself. But that's just an example. So write something to yourself in right there on the top that's going to empower you. Then you get into these 6 questions right here that help you to prepare your brain. Again, this is going to, when you actually do this, it's going to not allow procrastination, time management problems, you not getting things done because you're not feeling motivated or I forgot. Like this helps you to really achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So let's put in the work, all right? So these are the 6 questions right here that's going to start to prepare your mind, prime your mind, get your mind ready to win the day, right? You got to win the morning to win the day. So this is a part of it. Number 1, today I'm excited too. This is you creating an excitement, a hope, an anticipation for the day. What are you excited to do today? Number 2, 3 words that describe you, that you want to describe you, that you want to define you, that you want people to experience you as. For me, my three that I use all the time, because these are my three words. These are the words that I want people to know me as, to experience me as, is powerful, loving, and inspiring. Powerful, loving, and inspiring. Those are the three words that I even have like reminders on my phone that go off throughout the day, certain times. And boom, when the alarm goes off, it shoots that energy. I look at it and it says powerful, loving, inspiring. I'm like, oh yeah, yes. And that's what I want to be known as. So what three words, what are your three words that you're going to put right here? What do you want to be known as today? What do you want to be known? What three words do you want to define you, that you want people to experience you as? For an obstacle that can come up today. Everything's not going to be perfect. Oh, wait, I skipped one. Sorry. On number three, who will benefit from me being at my highest potential today? Your family, your team, your work, your business, your clients, your animals, your kids, who's going to benefit from you being at your highest potential today? Write down three people, three groups right there. For one obstacle that can come up today. Hey, and all these things that you have scheduled right here on your right side from 5 a.m. to 2, the things that you have to do today. Like right here on the bottom, it says the top three goals that you need to do today. What are some obstacles that can come up for you? And it's not about, trying to avoid those things. It's like, hey, if those things happen, maybe not. But if they do happen, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to deal with it? And that's the next line that you're going to write right there for number 4. Now, number 5, one action that I can take today that takes courage. What is something that you can do today that maybe you've been avoiding? Maybe you just, need a little courage, or you need something, right? Like you need to just make it happen today. What is that thing for today? And write it right there. Number 6, I will intentionally connect and communicate with these 3 people. Today, who is it really important for you to connect with, to communicate with? It can be about anything. It can be professional, personal. It can be the 3 people that that's important for you to connect with today. And make sure you do it. Again, the top 3 goals in the bottom. What is the action step that you need to do for those 3 top goals? And then on the right side, you have the times. You write down any notes right there in the bottom. Now we go off to, again, the right side of what I'm seeing. This is the evening. So you just did the day. You go through your day, right? You focused. You have some tools in the back just in case that you need throughout the day. But at the end of the day, you're going to end up at this next slide. See you there. All right, so now we have the evening page. So on the last slide, you saw the morning, right? That was the day page. And now, obviously, like during the night, at the end of the day, when you're done, everything's done, you're going to go over this stuff and you're going to measure yourself. So on the left side of the slide right here, you can see the evening schedule. You already went through all that. At the end of the day, when you're done giving your quality time and energy to your family, to your spouse, at the end of the day, when you're done, okay, it's time to go to sleep. That's when you get into this last part. Right there on the right side of your slide, you can see where it says how I felt today. Then underneath how I did today, and then evening reflections, right? This is really important, really key when it comes to this planner really having the effectiveness that I know that it could have for your life, because you need to measure yourself. You can't grow what you don't measure. You can't manage what you don't measure. And this is the measuring part. This is one of the most powerful parts. And yet so simple. So at the end of the day, when you're all done, you're going to rate yourself right here on how I felt today, on your mood, your energy, your clarity, your courage, your productivity, on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being, man, it was not good at all. It sucked. 5 being, it was freaking awesome. It was badass. It was really good. And then the second part is, how did I do today on your water, movement, whole foods, passion, relationships, and smile? On a scale of 1 to 5. Now, I know some of you are right now probably thinking, well, what do you mean mood? What do you mean energy? What do you mean movement? How do I rate myself? I don't understand, right? Well, you can't see it on your slide, but you can see it on the real planner. Where on the bottom, below, the things that you can see on the slide, underneath that, there's actually a magnifying glass with a bunch of words. Words like mood, clarity, courage, energy, productivity, emotional stability, water. All the things you're measuring yourself right here are in the bottom with the magnifying glass, and that icon means it's in the glossary. So every one of these things is defined in the glossary so that you know how to rate yourself correctly. And then there's also things in the glossary and in the next parts that we're going to get to show you what you can practically do what you can do on a like immediate basis to create immediate results for each of these areas so you can get your score higher. Okay, so but this is the powerful part. So now let's say you've been doing this for, a couple weeks now, right? And now you come at the evening to do your normal thing, and that's to measure yourself. So let's say tonight, your mood was, a 2 or a 3. Your energy the same. Your productivity the same. And you start noticing that your numbers are low, right? Then you look right here on the bottom. You start seeing your water, your movements. Maybe those things are low too. But what you do is you go a couple pages back, a couple days back, and you start to track and start to see where did your numbers start to drop. And a lot of times you'll see that these bottom numbers right here of how I did today, the water movement, all these things, when those things drop, the things above will drop. Your mood, energy, clarity, courage, productivity. When you don't have these things, this foundational parts of like the water, movement, whole foods, passion, if you don't have that at a high level, it's going to lower your mood, energy, clarity, courage, and productivity. So this is a good way to have a constant measuring system to see like where I'm lacking, but then you can go a couple pages back and see where it started so that you can make the adjustments now so that you don't continue to go down that route, right? So it's a really clear and very powerful way to make you take responsibility and give you a plan, give you some direction of what you need to do. It's just a lot of times it's just little adjustments that make the big difference. And then at the end right here, evening reflections. Today I appreciated the moment I appreciated the most was when, and you answer it. Today, a situation I handled really well was when. One thing I could have done to make this day better is today the people I connected best were. A couple people I wish I connected better were. And this is you again taking responsibility for the day so that you can see, all right, I lacked here, I did good here, and now I need to get clear. So how I'm gonna do it tomorrow and how I'm going to dominate tomorrow. So again, this is the evening parts of these the daily reviews to go over the day. So the next one is going to be a weekly review, and we'll go to that next slide now. All right, so now we are at the end of the week. You already filled out 7 of those daily pages, and now you're at the week end, right? So this is the weekly pages. So the 3 best things that happened last week were, and this is you reflecting, this you taking, bringing into this new week all that is good so that you can learn, you can grow, you can begin to, create a more of a momentum for yourself towards the goals you want to achieve. And a big part of that is digesting last week. And I don't know if you know how digestion works, especially with the cow. There's something called chewing the cud. I don't know if you've heard that. It's kind of gross, but it's something that is a very powerful illustration of how we learn, of how we need to, go over things according to this planner so that you can really set yourself up to win. Now, a cow has 4 stomachs, and what they do when they eat to make sure they get all the nutrients out of the grass that they're eating, they chew it, 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 and then they swallow, right? And before their body begins to digest it fully, they throw it up, basically. They throw up what they already chewed and swallowed, and then they start to chew it more. It's called chewing the cud. So that's because they want to get all the nutrients out of that which they just put into their mouth. So this is like chewing the cud for the week. This is you taking all the nutrients that you can from this last week so that you can bring it into this next week and again build a stronger momentum. So what are the things that you can take from last week? What are the 3 best things that happened last week? And you're going to write those down right there, right? And it's good to remember those. It's good to visualize those things. It's good to even feel what you were feeling at that time, because this is going to be very powerful for you to create more leverage in yourself to keep going forward in this. Now, the next thing, number 2, the biggest challenge last week was, write it down, reflect on it. Why was it challenging? What was so challenging about it? What could you have done differently? And that's going to move to this next one, actually. 3, one decision I could have made better that would give me a better momentum. Whether it's tied to number 2 or not, maybe there's some other things that you could have did better. Write it down right here. This is you, again, chewing the cud. You setting yourself up to gain more momentum for this next week. So it's, okay, what are the biggest challenge? What are the things I could have done better? Number 4, my mood and energy has been. And this is you taking responsibility of how your energy, how your mood has been this last week. Number 5, last week, my greatest accomplishment. What was it? What was it like? Go over. This is where you go over your pages, right? You start to look there. What are the goals that you've been achieving? What have you been doing? What are the results right here? The last week, the greatest accomplishment was what? And write it there. Celebrate it. Think about that again. Be thankful. Create some gratitude there. If you want to reward yourself in some way, then do that. But, really recognize that and appreciate what you did there. Number 6, the most fun I had last week was when, what? What was the most fun for you? Something that you really enjoyed, that created energy for you, that was memorable, something you had fun, okay? It doesn't have to be a big deal, but something that you can recognize that was fun for you. 7, the person I appreciated the most last week was who, and then because they, why did you appreciate them so much? And it'd be good, I would even add right here, like, okay, why don't you send them a text, send them a voice message or something, thanking them for that thing that they did and actually appreciate them. That will take this to a whole other level where you're now connecting, you're using this appreciation to give back, and this always creates good stuff for you. So this is the weekly pages of, again, what you need to do to begin to get all that you can from that last week so you can bring it into this next week, again, to create that momentum that you want. From there, that's the week review, right? And then we're going to go into restart, and I'll show you that in the next slide. So as you can see, when you open up this next one, it starts all over again. So you went through the week 1, right? So you did your weekly review. You've gone over that. Now it goes into the next week where you need to start all over. That's where you get into this chart. You do your rating again. You scale yourself on a 1 to 10 on each of these areas of this chart. You connect the dots. You can see where you need to focus. You pick 3 of those areas, and you move it into your goal system, right? Where you see the 1, 2, 3, you put it there. Why you want to focus on those 3 areas, you need to write your whys, because again, that's you just creating more clarity for yourself. That's going to create more courage for yourself so that you can take some action and get the results that you want. So you're going to start all over again from those 3. Whether from those 3 or something else, you need to create your main goal that you're going to focus on for this new week. And then you start all over. You put it in the top. What are the 4 main things that you need to do to accomplish that one main goal? You enter everything going down the columns to fill out this whole goal tool system. And then if you want to create more leverage in yourself, you go again to those links of leverage. Go through the 10 to create the most clarity that you can, so that you know that nothing's going to stop you from accomplishing this. So now you went through the week 1. This is the week review. Then you're already starting the week 2. So good job so far. Now, next we're going to get into the tools so I can explain what tools are in here and how to use them. All right, so now we're going to be getting into the tools, and this is another section that just makes this planner beyond any other planner that I've seen. This is more than a calendar, more than an agenda, more than a planner. It also has these powerful tools for leaders, for people who are high achievers or want to become a high achiever or leader. They're tools that are very essential to set ourselves up for success. So this is what really begins to separate even more this Life Mastery System planner, because now we're going to get into the tools that's going to help you to win. How to connect and communicate with anybody. Now, first let me tell you why this is so important, then I'll share with you how to use it and why it's so powerful. Okay, so how to connect and communicate with anybody. Why would you want to know or learn how or become a master in connecting and communicating with other people? Why? Because, your whole life is based around people, right? All the most important areas of your life are all based on and around people. And if you want to, raise the quality of your life, you need to raise the quality of your relationships with those people. And in order to raise the quality of your relationships with those people, you must, raise the quality of your ability to connect and communicate with them, right? So that's going to, better the quality of your relationship, which again is going to raise the quality of your life overall. So that's how important this is. This is going to help you in your relationships. It's going to help you in your marriage, with your kids, with your teams that you're leading, in your business, with clients. Anybody that you're talking to or around, this understanding, this tool will really build a clarity in you of how to engage, how to talk to anybody, where in a way where it connects with them, in a way where it builds trust with them very quick, in a way where you create influence over them very fast because they feel understood by you, because they feel connected to you. That's the power of this. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go overall. I'm going to just go through it real quick, and then I'm going to explain to you some little things that are going to be really key for you to use this. So it's 3 parts. Number 1, are they inward or outward? And again, I'm going to explain what these mean. 2, what animal are they? And what their main values are, their fears, their goals, and what keywords. 3, what energy, tone, and volume do I need to have? Okay, so first one, are they inward or outward? So this is something that I'm sure that you can do, that you've noticed, but maybe you don't do intentionally all the time. And that's the key. Like it's one thing to have good intentions, but it's a whole other thing to intentionally live, to use things intentionally. So I don't want you just to be like, oh, this is really cool, I'm going to try it. No, I want you to really practice this and integrate it into how you think. Integrate it into every time I interact with somebody, I'm going to use this, because it's a muscle that you're going to build. And the more you use it, the more it's going to become a part of who you are, to where you don't even need to try anymore. And that's when you're going to be able to connect, communicate, build influence, lead people, like just automatically, just by you being. Okay, so that's the goal here. So number 1, are they inward or are they outward? Or are they introverted or are they extroverted? Right? You can tell that with people. You can tell on how they talk, their volume, their speed, their tone, their expression, and their body language and their face, how they walk, how they laugh. Is it louder than everybody else? How they dress. Is it more outward to get attention, to stand out? These are all different keys and clues for you to begin to notice, if are they inward or are they outward? Are they extroverted or are they introverted? You can see right here when you go into this slide, it says inward or outward, and it has these arrows going off to the side, right? So if they're inward, they're going to have a slower reply and lower energy. If they're outward, they're going to have a faster reply and higher energy. What does that mean? So even if you're on the phone, you can identify, are they inward or outward, right? How? If you ask a question, if you're saying something, they have a slower reply. They think about it before they say it. They have a lower energy. Their tone, the volume, all that, the energy that's attached to what they're saying now in their reply is lower. Okay. Now, versus an outward extroverted person, when you ask them something, they're going to answer fast. They're going to answer quick. Sometimes they're not going to even allow you to finish the question because they're already talking and answering, right? That's when you can tell it's more of an inward person. They have an outward person. They also have a higher energy. So they're going to talk louder, maybe more strong, maybe more direct, maybe more loud, maybe they're going to laugh louder, their volume. So there's these little things that you need to pay attention to be able to identify, okay, this person is introverted, inward, or are they extroverted, outward? And I know you can be able to identify those things pretty quick, but again, the thing is identifying it on purpose with a purpose. You can do it over the phone. You can do it as somebody walks without them even talking. You can, identifying how they're dressed. All these different things, you can begin to put together clues to see, okay, is this person extroverted or are they introverted? Now, what do I do with that information already? Okay, so you can go on this little tool that I made. It goes lower into this mirror and match, right? So first, inward or outward, I can tell by the slower reply, lower energy, or the faster reply, higher energy. That moves me to the next part of, okay, I need to mirror and match them. What does that mean? A mirror, you reflect them physically, right? Match is the energy and the attitude that they're carrying. So you want to, create a space that's familiar to them. Why? Because people trust themselves the most. They like themselves the most. They feel more safe around themselves the most because they know themselves the most, right? So your goal here is to kind of create a space, an environment where it feels familiar to them. It feels like them, because they're going to trust you faster. Not that you're going to stay there, not that you need to change who you are, but that's the initial connection so that you can create that understanding first. So, okay, are they inward or outward? Now I need to match them. So if they have, a body language that's leaning forward or leaning back, more relaxed, or they're more, closed, like, maybe shy, or they're closed up, or maybe they're more open and they're moving, their movements in their hands are like a lot more aggressive or bigger, right? A lot louder in their movements. Well, if you're an inward person, you need to generate more energy. You need to, step it up. You need to talk faster, talk louder. You need to engage them more. You need to have more fun with them, or you need to be more, clear and direct with them, depending on the personality. But your energy needs to go up in order to match theirs. Now, if it's the other way, then you need to drop it, right? Maybe you're a high energy person. Maybe you're an extroverted, and now you need to connect with an introverted person. So you need to lower your mirror and match to match them so they feel more secure, more safe around you. Because just think about it. I'm sure that you've had times where, maybe you're an extroverted person and you come off too strong with somebody else and you're like, it kind of scares them or it breaks connection. Or the other way around, where maybe they're higher energy and you're lower and now they're bored or just you're not engaging them. So you have to pay attention to, okay, are they inward or are they outward? And now how am I going to mirror and match them? This is where you create that space, okay? So once you have that, that's number one. Are they inward or outward? Then you mirror and match. Now we move to the next step. Okay, what animal are they? Why do you want to know what animal they are? Because you're going to know their values. You're going to know their fears. You're going to know their goals. And you're going to know key words on what you can bring into what you're saying that will resonate more with them. They will listen better. They will understand you better because you know what they value. You know what they fear. You know what their goals are. And you know what words to use to better communicate with them. How do you know all this stuff already? Because you know if they're inward or outward and you know their animal. Even if you never met this person before, if they're a total stranger, if you can identify inward or outward and what kind of personality they are, you'll be able to read them. You'll be able to know them better than themselves sometimes. I use this on a lot of times on clients, on students, on family, and they think like I'm psychic or something because I have such a good understanding of people. Okay, so this is where it comes from. It comes from this tool. So now you mirror and match, right? You already know that. You go to next one. What animal are they? Now, what the heck? What do you mean animals, right? So I teach personalities through animals, and these are the animals that I use: owl, sheep, rhino, lovebird. Now, there are two inward personalities, and there's two outward personalities. The inward personalities are the owl and the sheep. The outward, the rhino and the lovebird. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down a little bit of each one so that you can understand what these personalities are. Now, if you want to know more of this, if you want to really get into detail where I'm doing live coaching and really showing you what the difference is and how to connect with them and how not to connect with them, I have a whole course on this in the leadership section of our online academy for the Rise Academy, and it's on the personalities, the four personalities. So you can go check it out. It's a lot deeper, more comprehensive than this, of course. But real quick, the owl. If you think of the owl, the owl says who, the who, what, when, where, why, how. They're the ones that are more detailed oriented. They're more. They want to know all the details. They want to know all the information so that they can make a better decision because they're perfectionists. Okay, so these are more respectful, cautious. They like to ask questions. They're more diplomatic. They're more respectful. That's in their personality. You can tell. Now the sheep is an inward personality too. But the sheep is more people oriented and the owl is more goal oriented. So when you look at the sheep is more calm, cool, collected. They're more sensitive. They're more herd mentality like the sheep. They can become people pleasers because of that, but they really value connection with others. And that's so important to them that they will avoid conflict. They will avoid certain things in order to be okay with everybody around them. That's the sheep. Now the owl is more goal oriented. They want to get things done, but as they're moving forward, they want to make sure that they have, the details right. They want to make sure that they have accuracy as they're moving forward. They don't want to just do it. They want to ready, aim, aim, aim. They want to aim, 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 make sure it's right. The outward personalities is not so much ready, aim, it's ready, fire, aim. Like they just go for it, right? But it's different for the inward personalities that we're talking about. So the owl will be more slower to reply or to do things because they're harder on themselves and they want to be they want to be perfect. But the sheep, they will be, take a little longer. They'll be in making decisions, not because of that, but because they don't want to bother other people or they don't want to, hurt somebody else or they don't want to break relationship with somebody else because of a decision that they made. So that's very important to them. Now let's go to the outward personalities. We have two. The rhino, when you think about the rhino, they're very strong, confident presence. They're confident presence. They're in a hurry. They're very direct. Like a rhino, they have that, that horn in the front. That's to charge forward. And this personality likes to charge forward. They don't like to go backwards. Not only that, but they like to be in charge. They're more controlling. They're more competitive. They like to win. They're very, very goal oriented. They're not going to be thinking about how you feel or the reasons of why you didn't get it done. They just want results. That's the rhino. The lovebird is another outward personality, but they're more fun, friends, and freedom. They're like, hey, they're more the cheerleading, the more the cheerleader style, or give me the microphone, center of attention. I want to be on stage. They laugh louder, talk louder in the group. These are the ones who draw attention. They're very confident. They can talk to anybody. They're charming, but they lack follow through. They can be a little scattered. The rhino is very strong, has a lot of good things, but they can come off as arrogant, know it all, mean, like jerks sometimes because they're not thinking about how people feel. The sheep can come off as boring, unexpressive because they're very calm, cool, and collected. The owl can come off as, like he thinks he's all that and he just tries too hard because they're perfectionists. So when you can quickly begin to learn these, you'll learn how to talk to them in what style and even keywords. And you can move to the bottom of the tool right there where you can see underneath the owl, keywords guaranteed, statistics, accuracy, clarity, details, charts, facts, all those type of words like get the owl excited because they're like, oh yes, information, I want to make sure I do this right. So when communicating with the owl style individual, your focus is on facts and details. It's not about pep talk, emotional talk, like, yeah, you can do it. They don't really like that. They just want to have the right information. Be patient with them, be diplomatic and respectful. Okay, now let's move to the sheep. When you look underneath the sheep, the keywords, family, connection, love, safe, no pressure, teamwork, secure. When you really think and meditate on those words, you can see why it's so important for that personality. Now, when communicating to a sheep, you want to be personal, friendly, express your interest in them and what you expect from them. Take time to provide clarity, be polite, lower your volume, your movement. Don't be so aggressive. Don't be confrontational because you will scare them away. So you need to speak in their way. Why? Again, this is not you just trying to cater to them, or this is you being able to influence them very fast so that, if you want them to do something or, something that's out of their character, you first need to create connection with them, influence, and then you can get them and move them into doing something that they normally don't do. That's the sheep. Now the rhino, if you look in the bottom, the keywords, results, achieve, action, advantage, opportunity, make money, goals, win. These are other things that are really important for that personality. And when you communicate with the rhino, you want to give them the bottom line. Be brief, focus, narrow. Avoid generalizations because they want to, or repeating yourself. They want to be focused. They want to be focused on solutions rather than problems. Now let's go to the lovebird. When you look in the bottom, the keywords, fun, freedom, friends, party, relationships, happy, compliments. These are all different words that are important to them. When you're speaking to a lovebird personality, you want to share your experiences and share it with expression, with energy, with smile on your face. The lovebird person, they love to ask questions. If you ask questions of them, they'll love to talk about themselves, and they want to focus on the positives. So focus on the positive. Don't overload them with details and don't interrupt them because that creates disconnection. So these are the 4 personalities, and that's a quick overview of each one and how to connect with them. So when you begin to learn this tool overall, 1, are they inward or outward? If you just use that already intentionally and you begin to mirror and match them, that will already begin to raise the quality of your life, of your leadership, of your relationships. But when you take it deeper and really begin to learn the different personalities so that you can, learn their values, their fears, their goals, the keywords to use. And then you go into the next step of what kind of energy and tone and volume do I need to have for these specific personalities. This will make you a master in connecting, communicating with anyone. All right, let's get into another powerful tool here. And this one is directly connected with the last one of how to connect and communicate with anybody. And as we know in life, sometimes there's going to be conflict. There's going to be conflict whenever there's people around because there's different personalities, there's different opinions, there's different beliefs, there's different values, different backgrounds, different perspectives. It's different. So a lot of times we will bump heads, we will disagree, and not that that's even bad, but we have to know how to deal with it because a lot of times people will avoid confrontation, avoid conflict because they have a bad perspective about it. They have a background and upbringing where they didn't have a great example, of it. So we avoid it, or, we get aggressive in it. And we put on our combat boots and we just want to fight and we think that's, winning the confrontation. So confrontation is going to be a part of your life. Conflict is a part of growth. It's a part of relationships. And a conflict and confrontation is what we make of it. I do an exercise a lot of times where I ask people, in big seminars and conferences, and I'm teaching on conflict resolution or how to lead teams or how to deal with problems, like whatever it's on. A lot of times I'll use this and I'll ask this question, so I'm going to ask it to you. So when I say confrontation, what are the three words that come to your mind right away? Don't think about it too much, just what immediately comes up when I say confrontation. Think about it. Now, most of the time when I ask this question, I'll go around asking everybody in the room, like, okay, what are the three words that came to your mind when I said confrontation? And they'll usually say, fight, argue, throw things, aggressive, violence, um, you know, talk, yell, scream. I get a lot of negative words that come from it, and the reason being is because we have a negative belief about it, negative experience and past with it. So when I say confrontation, our brain pulls up a lot of memories, and our brain wants to either fight or flight. And depending on your belief system and your experiences, you're gonna do one or the other when you don't have to. You don't have to fight or flight. If you understand how to use this effective confrontation system, it really builds a confidence, a clarity, and a confidence in you of like, well, I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to avoid this. Actually, me dealing with it in a more effective way is not only going to raise the quality of my life, but also the person that I'm confronting, right? Because the whole goal of confronting is not to like, okay, I'm going to show you how wrong you are, or that you're wronger than, you're more wrong than me. Already, if you go into that kind of, if you go in with that kind of perspective and attitude, you're both gonna lose. Because it's not a win. A confrontation win-win is when both people feel understood. Doesn't mean you have to agree, but you both feel at least heard and understood. And then from there, you can move on and agree to disagree. But so many times people they're arguing or they're having a confrontation, and they end up with like, okay, well, let's just agree to disagree, but it's coming from a frustration and anger or hurt, and that's not really agree to disagree. That's not a win-win there. You're not creating connection. It's more disconnection and frustration. So the whole goal of effective confrontation is to create a stronger connection, a stronger bond with whoever it is, so that you can create more influence in that relationship, more of a strong bonding. Okay, so here is a 8-step thing of what you can begin to learn how to do to be better prepared, and so you can be a win-win situation when it comes to confrontation. Okay, so let me read over these a little bit, and I'll give some little keys, some little tips as we are going through. But again, these are big courses that I have, in person, online, so I'm not going to go through it too much, just enough for you to understand it. So number one, preparation. So obviously this, is before your meeting. This is something you need to deal in within yourself. Start with the basic belief that the person you intend to confront is good, and that they desire to do well. Identify the problem itself as a central issue, rather than perceiving people as the problem. So if you're going to confront somebody, just already be clear in your own mind before you go that the whole person is not the problem. They have a problem, or they're creating a problem, and that's coming from something else in them, but all of them is not broken, right? Like if you get a flat tire on your car, you're not going to throw away your car because the whole car is not broken. It's just the tire, right? The same concept here with the person who you're going to confront. The whole person is not broken, but there is brokenness in there. Now, during this confrontation, you're going to figure out where that's coming from. That's the goal. So they feel understood, and you can create that leverage to create influence to, either persuade them to get out of what they're doing, or to do something different. You can use this influence for whatever you want. But first, start with that basic belief that that whole person is not bad. Second point to this, remember that you are not there to control them. That's a big one. A lot of times we go into confrontations with an expectation. And when we feel they're not doing what we expected or what we wanted them to do, we start to use force. We start to use manipulation, punishment, withholding love, yelling, aggression, all these different things to try to control. But the whole point here is to empower them, because if you're just trying to control them, they're not gonna they're not gonna do it because they want to. They're gonna do it because they have to, if they even have to with you. Like if you're their boss or their parents, then yeah, they have to, but they're going to do it just enough to get by. They're not going to do it with their whole heart. They're not going to really put themselves into it. So you're going to get very low quality results when you make them. Okay, so the whole goal is to get their buy-in, to enlist them so they can see like, wow, they're empowered. They're taking full responsibility, of course, but now they're going to be empowered through you, through this confrontation, so that they can clean up their own mess. This is not for you to point out their problem and then take their problem and go clean it for them. You want to have this confrontation to where they're taking responsibility, and at the end of it, they're empowered and want to go clean up their own mess. That's the power of this confrontational system. Next point, be clear about your motive and desired outcome. So this is, again, before you're even meeting with them. Be clear. Okay, what is your motive? Is your motive just to get them and to prove them wrong? Is your motive to make them look bad in front of somebody else? Is your motive to really help them to see that which they did or didn't do, or that they're lacking, because you care and you see that it's messing them up and other people around them, so you want to, is that your out? You got to be clear for yourself. Be clear about your motive and desired outcome. What do you want from this confrontation that you're going to have? What do you want to come out from it? Next point, acknowledge anything that you could have done better to prevent the problem. Take responsibility where it was called for. So if there is something that you're going to confront with this person and you were a part of the problem, then you need to own your own part. Don't go in there and just try to make it all about theirs. You need to, before you even go, acknowledge that you had a part to play, and that maybe you lacked something, you said something, you did something, you didn't do something that added to the problem. You need to take full responsibility for that. Next part, forgive. Again, this is still preparation. So I would really recommend that you would forgive that person even before confronting them. Because if you're holding something against them, you're going to have this button, this trigger inside of you. So as soon as they give you a certain look or or whatever, they say something, it's going to hit that trigger and you're going to lose it. You're going to react. And you reacting is not being a powerful person. You're going to end up looking bad. You're going to hit their buttons, their triggers, and now you're fighting about something that was never the problem. You are creating a bigger problem than there was before, all because you had this button that they were able to push. And it's not their fault that they pushed the button. It's your fault that you have the button to be pushed at all. So forgive. And that forgiveness, you forgiving them and what they did or didn't do, it doesn't mean that you're now okay with it, because obviously you're still going to go confront. It doesn't mean that you need to now go be best friends with them because maybe they did something where you don't want to do that. Right? But either way, forgiveness is for you. It's so that you don't have this negative energy that's going to come out or be a button or a trigger for you for them to get you to react. And now you lose in this confrontation. Last part of this preparation, breathe. Meditate. Think about what this is going to look like. Meditate is not emptying your mind to me. It's filling your mind. It's even visualizing how this is going to go. You visualizing the place, what it feels like, the room, what you're wearing, what they're wearing, how you're going to start the conversation, how it's going to go. Visualize the best ideal interaction, confrontation that you can possibly have with this person, and just visualize it, meditate on it, and breathe. This is you setting yourself up for this effective confrontation. Number 2, choose the appropriate time and surrounding to meet, because it's not always appropriate. We need to, is this the right time? Is this the right place? Is it going to be distracted? Is it too loud in here? Is this something that's kind of personal? So I should, kind of pull them aside. Figure out when is the best appropriate time, surrounding to meet, and then you meet. Number 3, keep your body language, facial expressions positive and open. Don't cross your arms and raise your brow and you're like, no, you have to be more open. Even if they're saying things that you don't agree with, that is wrong, from a different perspective, or even flat out lying, it's not time for you to close up. You want to allow them to keep giving that information, because you're going to use that information as we go farther into this confrontation. So keep your body language, your facial expressions positive and open. Don't get distracted and caught up with the symptoms. Symptoms meaning the behaviors, the words that they're saying, the rolling their eyes. Those are not the problems. So don't allow those to get you to react. You want to really know where this is coming from. And deal with one issue at a time. A lot of times when you're talking about something, they start to bring up the past, or you want to bring up the past. It gets very confusing. Just deal with one issue at a time. 4, apply pressure through open-ended questions. So what is it exactly that I did that hurt you? what, like, or what is it, why did you do that thing, or why are you always being late, or why aren't you, whatever. You're asking open-ended questions because you want to learn, you want to understand. You're not trying to trap them. You're not trying to get them to give you information where you're going to, oh, see, I knew it. Because that's going to hit their triggers. They're going to want to fight, and then you're going to want to fight again too. And then again, you both lose. So you're going to apply pressure. That's good, but you're going to do it through open-ended questions strategically. Be open, allow for the possibility that you actually might be wrong, and they could be right. That could be there. So your whole point of asking these questions is coming from a place of you being a very wise person, and you're not going to assume. Because assume makes an ass out of you and me. I don't know if you've heard that, but assuming is not good. It really messes you up. So you don't want to assume. You want to ask questions and learn. That's number 4. Number 5, listen in order to learn and understand. Don't just don't just look for where you agree, and don't just listen, and then you hear something that you don't like or you don't agree with, and then you don't hear the rest of it because you're coming up with what you're going to say. Like, now you're just waiting for them to finish because you have this one thing that you don't agree with, or this one thing that you wasn't true or didn't happen, and you don't hear the rest of it, and you don't hear where they're speaking from. You're just waiting for your turn to get them. That's a wrong perspective. That's not how you win in confrontation. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, make them feel understood through active listening. So the whole point in confrontation, the person who wins in confrontation is the one who makes the other feel understood first. Again, the person who will win in confrontation is the one who makes the other feel understood first. So number 6, you want to make them feel understood. How? Through active listening, eye contact, giving your full attention. You're not looking at your watch, at your phone. Like, they're the only person in the world at that time, and you're not interrupting them. You're letting them finish. The only time you interrupt is to give them some feedback, or to summarize, or to rephrase, to make sure that you heard right, and to make sure they know that you are listening and hearing right. That's the only time. Be open, don't judge, don't justify, don't jump in. You're here to learn, right? Use the mirror technique that we talked about with the personalities. You can even use the keywords and all that stuff in talking about the personalities to even become more effective when it comes to confrontation. 7, now that you connected, you talked about all these things. Now ask for some potential solutions. Discuss what are the options of what can be done now. And then talk about the pros and cons for each of those options, and discuss it with each other, and then pick an option and do something about it. So keep the power. If it's something that you're confronting in them that was their problem, you need to keep the power and the problem in their hands, because you want them to take responsibility and clean it up. Again, if there's some things in yours, then you need to share with them what you're taking responsibility for and what is your plan of action. 8, select the best possible solutions, again, and offer the support where you can follow through on it. Make sure both sides are taking responsibility to their own parts. So here's a 7 ways where you can become more effective in your confrontation. All right, let's get into this next tool now. Again, let me remind you that this is the life mastery system, right? So it's life mastery, mastering your life, the different areas of your life, the most important areas of your life. And mastery is not about perfection. It's about having a system put in place where that works, that's producing the results that you want, and you're being consistent with your growth. In every area of your life, the most important areas of your life, there's continued growth, and you can actually put it on a system and measure it, and you can see it. That's what this is about. So this is the part for your health, which is a very important part of your life, right? So if you don't feel good, if you don't have a high quality energy because you're sick, because you have pain, because you're dealing with different sicknesses, going to the doctors on meds, you're going to not have a high quality life. You're not going to be as productive. You're not going to be as present. Just think about when you have a light headache. Just a light headache. How that affects you being present. How that affects you being productive. How that affects you being patient. It affects so many things, and that's just a headache. So many people have so many different things going on in their lives, in their bodies, because they don't take care of it. Now, I want to tell you that for me, I tell people, this whole life mastery is about achieving your goals. I get that, and goals are really important, but I challenge people to think differently when it comes to their health. And I tell them, don't think of your health as a goal. Don't make it a goal. Actually, make it a lifestyle. Because this is going to be foundational to reach and achieve all of your goals. and feel good on the way of making it happen. So your health should be a lifestyle. Okay, not just, oh, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to be on a diet. This is something that is integrated into your life because you're a high achiever, because you want a high quality of living. So these are different areas of your health, right? So this is where you're going to rate yourself, again, the same kind of chart, the same kind of tool, where you scale yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 going towards the middle, where it's not that strong, I'm not doing that well in that area, I'm not satisfied, I'm not content, I am lacking. Versus going towards the outside of the circle, now it's more towards the 10. Like, man, I'm freaking doing awesome here, I'm being consistent, I feel good about what I'm doing. It's a whole different feel there, right? So scaling yourself on a scale 1 to 10 in each of these areas. Now again, you can't see it on the slide, but on the bottom of the page, you can see on the bottom there's the icon with that means it's all this stuff is defined in the glossary. So if you're thinking like, okay, well, how much sleep should I be having, or how much exercise, or how much water, or fresh air? What do you mean fresh air? Or sunshine? What do you mean for sunshine? Like, how much am I supposed to get? Right? We start getting all these questions, and I have all these things defined and answered in the back of the book in the glossary, where I explain each section, what it means, why it's important, what it's going to do for you, so you can see the benefits of doing these things. And then from there, you have clarity of how to measure yourself on this chart. So again, this is something that you can do on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. You can do it, just keep checking yourself. You can do it with your kids, you can take your team through it, because this is foundational to what kind of energy that they're going to have, and what that energy they're producing, and that with that energy they're achieving, with that energy they are, meeting goals. So if you help them to have a higher quality of energy, they're going to have higher quality production. So that's what makes sense. So this is a great tool for yourself and for others. And again, your health is not a goal, it's a lifestyle. All right, now here's another tool: the 7 areas to strengthen your relationship. Now, I have done marriage counseling, marriage coaching. I've dealt with business owners where, the owners are married. So I've dealt with a lot of different aspects in over 25 nations in the world, all different ages, all, just got together, just got married, been together for over 30 years. Um, I've heard it all when it comes to relationships. And with the good and the bad, a lot of the bad stuff, the behaviors, the habits, the whether it's the cheating or the abuse, or any of the, not to go only the extreme stuff, but those things that are not healthy happening in relationships. A lot of those things are symptoms of something else going on. They're not really the problems. And the symptom for me, like the main thing that is happening there that's creating those habits, those behaviors, those things, is disconnection. So when there's disconnection in those different areas of that relationship, of course, it creates a vulnerability in that relationship to where, outside things can come into the bring division, bring, destruction in the connection of the relationship. Now the communication goes away. There's assumptions built. There's pain that's being held against one another, and there's revenge. All these things start to happen because of pain, and all those stuff are coming from another place. So the main thing to focus in when you want to build a relationship, you don't want to, focus on all the things where, okay, I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to really focus on trying not to make that happen. Or I don't want this to happen. So that's coming from fear, and it's dealing with symptoms. What you want to put all your energy, all your focus into is creating connection. So these are 7 areas to strengthen your relationship, 7 areas where you can create connection intentionally. Now, if you, even if it's just one side, starts to create connection in each of these areas intentionally, it will really raise the quality of your relationship a lot. Now, if you can get both to begin to have this understanding where it's not about doing it perfect, but having an intention, an understanding that there are these areas, and a level of agreement that, hey, I know this is important, I want to create connection. If you have both sides of the relationship doing that, you will have a great relationship. So it's all about creating connection in each of these areas. So you can see that there's a chart right here in the bottom. Same concept as the other charts. You're going to rate yourself on how fulfilled you feel in the relationship. Now, you're not going to rate, your partner for them. If you want to have them go through it, they can rate you. But you need to rate how fulfilled you feel And this is not about blaming. It's not about making excuses. It's not about becoming a victim. It's not about. It's just being about. This is about being honest and about how you feel as far as your level of satisfaction, your level of, you know, of contentment in each of these areas. How connected do you feel in each of these areas? And then you scale yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, physically, sexually, socially, financially. How do you feel as far as your relationship goes? How well do you feel spiritually? Are you connected there? Um, how well are you able to connect intellectually? How well you're able to connect emotionally, physically, sexually, socially? Like these are all areas that you need to communicate with one another. And as you communicate, you'll be able to find what the needs are for each person because they're going to be different. You come from different backgrounds, different beliefs, different perspectives. You have different, personalities, different needs. Like for an example, for the social, usually there's one person in the relationship that has a higher need to be social. Like they want to go out more. So in one person, going out once a month is plenty. So they can scale themselves on a 10 because they feel fully fulfilled, right? But on the other person in that same relationship can say, I'm at a 2 because I need to go out at least once a week, to feel like I'm meeting my need, like it's just a higher need. So those people in the relationship need to talk about that and figure out what are ways that you can compromise, what are ways that you can work together to meet each other's need. And sometimes, love is sacrificial. Love is sacrificial a lot of times. Sometimes it's not making it about you and just making it fully about them and meeting their need. And if you have both sides of the relationship focusing on that relationship is going to be very, very powerful because both are dead to self, basically. There's no selfishness. They're not thinking about them and their needs when they want it, how they want it. You know, they're thinking of like, how am I going to meet your needs? How am I going to connect and intentionally with each of these areas and meet the needs how you want them to be met? So it's very powerful thing when you have both people, of course, in agreement with that. But when you have one, it still creates a very high quality relationship compared to none. So you can also see this picture on the top right, or on the slide. It's actually in the bottom. It's different on the actual planner, but you see the two couple sitting or standing together there, right? And you see the different levels, the spiritual, intellectual. So this is a good visual to remember the 7 different areas. So you don't have to remember this chart. So above the head, spiritual. Then you move your way down to the head. That's the intellectual. Move your way down to like the heart area, emotional. Move your way down to like your physical. Like think of your stomach as your abs. So just to remind you of physical, doing something physically together. It doesn't have to be workout, gym, but you're physically doing something together to create connection. Then you go a little lower. That's sexual. Uh, then you go a little lower, your legs, like if you're gonna go out together, being social. And then shoes kind of represent like financial, like if you're gonna buy new shoes. So this is just a way to remember the different areas so that you can be more intentional throughout the day and communicating and connecting in each of these 7 areas, because again, that's the strongest thing. That's the thing that's going to create a healthiest relationship, is you creating connection in each of these areas. All right, so this slide is what I was talking about when we go to the life chart. The health chart. I told you that there is a part in the planner that breaks each one of those things down, explains what it is, what is needed, what's required for your body to function at its highest potential. So here are each of the areas explained to you very simply, and there's also simple steps, simple principles, simple things that you can begin to do to integrate these health principles into your life more. So again, this is a lifestyle. It's not you're going to do this for a month or try it for 2 months. I guarantee you get all these 7 things happening in your life at a very high level. Your quality of life will be like how you've never have experienced it before. So these are 7 principles of health explained and broken down for you. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's get to this powerful tool. We're getting towards the end of the planner. Now, this is a tool that, man, I use it so much for myself because I am a leader. As far as teams, as far as clients, as far as family, kids, I'm constantly leading, and I want to be a better leader. I want to be more influential. I want to have more impact. I want to win, and I want others to win with me. But I've also found that a lot of my clients, a lot of my students, a lot of people who I'm helping, whether they are in a leadership position or not, they don't have or understand leadership skills or how to lead, how to engage their team, how to get them to be more productive, more competitive, more efficient. So that's why I put this tools in here so that you as a leader have a guide, have these habits, have these questions, have this tool in your hand to better, lead your team. So let's go through each of these. There's 6. I put 2 on each slide, so we're gonna have 3 slides for this tool. I'm not gonna break it down, so in depth because again, I have courses on these things. I have intensives where I take people through it in a very deep way. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over it just so you get an understanding of what the heck I'm talking about. I do have a little explanation after each, habit. I break it down, and then there's questions that you basically have to answer. And by the time you get to the end of it, you have this plan, you have this system of how to better lead your team. Okay, so all you have to do is basically read and fill in the blanks. I made it that simple, but let me just give you a little explanation real quick. So number 1 is envisioning them. To envision them, envision your team. Now, this means because you as a leader have a lot of power in your words because you have that position. So your words carry weight. It's beyond just a sound that's, going through the atmosphere, vibrating, making a sound. There's actual substance on what you're saying. And as a leader, your words carry a lot of weight, a lot of authority. So your job is to envision your team. You need to use your words to create a picture, an image, a future that they can see in their mind, because if they can see it, they can become it. If they can see it, they can believe it. So it's your job to continue every day throughout the day. This is not just once a month or on your Monday meeting, or when you have meetings with your kids, or when finally things get bad and you have to go and have a talk. No, this is something you do daily. These are practices. These are habits, okay? These are some, you don't just get a couple of these done and say, okay, I can move on to the next. These are a part of your lifestyle as a leader. So just like you don't turn your leadership off and on, like these are habits that you need to have, because as a leader, you will have these habits. So envision them. They need to see that there's a better tomorrow, and you need to create all this using your words so they can see it. Right? This is you using your words to create an image in their brain like a movie, because the more detailed, the more they can picture it, the better it is going to be for you and the team, because they can see it. It creates a motivation, it creates a clarity, it creates a courage to go and take action. So it's a very important, essential, and powerful habit to envision your team. So now that you envision them, now that you painted this picture, right, you need to enlist them. That's the second one. You need to get their buy-in. So you painted a really clear picture. Now you come back to them and say, what do you think about it? How do you see yourself in there? How do you see you using your talents, your strengths, the things that you're good at, the things that you're passionate about? How can you see yourself, in this vision? And you get their feedback, you get their buy-in. And if they have ideas, you talk about those ideas, so that, and even implement some of those ideas, maybe even if they're not the best ideas. Because if it's their idea, they're going to be more committed to it, right? So if it's just your idea, they'll do it because they want to keep their job, but they're not going to do as much quality, as much effort into it as though. Versus if there was their idea. If it's their idea, they're going to be more committed to it. They're going to be more passionate about it because it's their idea. That's the enlisting. So now that you painted that picture for them, you're going to ask them those questions like, hey, give me your feedback. What do you think about this? How is this in alignment with your own personal goals, with your own dreams for your life personally? Because you don't want to just envision them and enlist them like, hey, help me to build my business, my team, meet my goals. You want them to see what's in it good for them. What's good that's in it for them. How is it going to help them in their life, their personal life, their family? So this is you tying that in together with the overall vision and the goal of where you're taking the whole group together. That's the enlisting them. Okay, so there are some questions there. Again, you can go through that to get a better picture. You start to write that out, think about it, and then we move to this next one. All right, so now let's get to the next 2 habits, which is embody your vision, setting the standard, and empowering them. Okay, so now that you've already did number one, you envision them, right? They see clearly of where they're going, how they're going to get there, why they're going. They see it. They can see it. You've already sat down, got their feedback. You tied together their personal goals, together with the big long-term goal of what you want to do with them. So it's something in it for them too. So you've enlisted them, right? So now you need to set the standard yourself. Now you need to embody the vision that you painted with your picture, like with your words, right? Like you need to show them now. You showed them through your words. You enlisted them. Now you need to be a leader. Now you move before them. You walk in front of them, and you say, "Look, follow me. This is how you do it." You set the standard. They need to see you produce results. Your repetition will become your reputation. So as you consistently and continually produce results on a daily basis, and they see you do it, they see you with the good attitude, good energy, connecting with people, and you're producing the results. This is going to create a whole different level of influence, which is going to raise your quality of leadership. It's going to raise their quality of production, because they see you doing it. You're not just talking. You're rolling up your sleeves and you're getting to work. You're producing the results. You're setting the standard. Okay, so that's super important. Otherwise, you're going to start to lose influence. You're not doing it. It's going to create division and a lower morale, because they're like, yeah, he just tells us what to do, but he doesn't freaking do it. Right? You're gonna lower your level of leadership if you don't embody your vision. If you don't set the standard. Number 4. Now that you're setting the standard, you're doing it, everybody's moving along, you need to empower them, right? Empower them. This is you continually giving them the tools, the strategies, the systems of what they need, according to whatever their job function is, whatever their role is in their project, whatever their chore is, whatever that goal is that they want to accomplish, whatever it is that you want to get them to move towards. Set them up to win. Set them up for success. Give them the right tools, strategy, systems, develop them, give them the right technology, whatever they need to be able to win at what they're doing. This is you empowering them. So write down some things, of what they need, and then begin to meet those needs. Real simple, right? So let's move to the next one now. All right, so now the last 2 leadership habits. We've already went through how to envision them, how to enlist them, how to set the standard, how to empower them, and now let's get to the last 2, how to evaluate them and how to encourage them. So now that you've empowered them, you've already given them everything that they needed to win, right? They have all the right tools, the strategies, the systems, they have it. They have the equipment. Now you need to evaluate. Now you need to measure them. Measure and evaluate their contributions. Are they meeting their goals, their results? Their skills, their needs, their ethics, their progression, their attitude, their energy. These are all different things that you can begin to measure and evaluate, because you can't grow what you don't measure, again. So what are some things here that, according to the person that you're leading, or the group that you're leading, and in alignment with, where you want them to go, what do you need to evaluate on a regular basis to make sure that they're doing their job, to make sure that they're doing their part, to make sure that they are growing, that they are advancing, right? So these are the different areas that you need to do that with. So this is you creating your own system of how you're going to evaluate, when you're going to do your checkups with them, what kind of questions you're going to ask with them, and help them to make some changes, make some adjustments where they need to, right? That's evaluating. Now we get to the last part. Now that you've evaluated them, you're going to encourage them. You're going to, lift them up. Like, hey, you're doing awesome in these parts. Now you need to do this. You need to turn the negatives into positives. You need to get them to collaborate more, get them to do some more things. And, this is you encouraging them with compliments, with words that are going to make them feel good, built up. You're going to tell them the good things, the good qualities, the good characteristics, the good skills, the talents that they have. You're going to remind them about those things and encourage them. So when you begin to do all 6 of these habits on a daily basis for those who you are leading, you're constantly using your words to paint that picture. You're constantly asking them for their feedback, getting them to be engaged in that overall vision. You're constantly rolling up your sleeves and showing them how to do it. You're actually doing it. You're constantly, empowering them, giving them what they need to win. You're constantly evaluating them, making sure that they are doing what they need to be doing, and you're constantly encouraging them. When you do these 6 habits, these 6 practices on all the time, this will really raise your level of leadership. So now we get into the glossary. So like in the beginning of this presentation I shared with you at the end, there's everything defined for you, so that you understand what you're reading. If there's some concepts, some things that you're like, what does that mean? It's all going to be here in the glossary explaining. It's on, this is just a part of it, and there's actually more. But these are different things that you need to understand as you're going and using this planner. So read through them, make sure you understand what they are, because these words are going to pop up in and throughout the planner. So now this is the end of it. This is the planner. This is the Life Mastery System Planner. This has been producing a lot of results in people's lives, whether personally, professionally, relationally. That's what it's about. It's the life mastery, right? So I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this presentation. I hope this gives you a good, an overall view of what this is really about, how to use it, what it can do for you in your life, for your future. I'm telling you, this kills procrastination. This kills, any kind of time management problems. This kills having a need to feel motivated. Like, this puts everything straight in your face and shows you what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to do it, so that there's no excuse. Everything is lined up for you so that you can have achievement and alignment and enjoy the process of you achieving and creating the life that you always wanted.